Okay, so what we have here today is we have an HP w2207h monitor, and basically what is happening is we are losing our signal. I'll show you exactly what the behavior would be. So we turn the monitor on, we will get a display briefly. It'll come on here in just a second. Okay, so we have a normal display, and only for about maybe 10 to 15 seconds, and it should pop right out. And it is not going into sleep mode, and I'll show you why here shortly. Won't take much longer, and this should cut out. There it goes. Okay, so we lost our display, but it's not in sleep mode, and I'll tell you why is because our light on top is still blue. If it was in sleep mode, this would turn orange. Okay, so I think I know what the problem is on this, and let's go ahead and pull the monitor apart, and I'll show you what the suspected issue is. I'll be right back. Alright, so the first thing we want to do in order to take the cover off is we need to pull the stand off the monitor. I like to use this. This is a handy tool. It's basically the scraper from a George Foreman grill. It works out real good for popping things like this off. So if you just go underneath this this black cover here, it'll snap right off like that. Okay, and then basically you've got 3 Phillips screws. Oh, that's not what I want to take off, sorry. Take the big screws off the outer center. So 4 corner screws. Let's set these aside somewhere. Monitor stand is very heavy, so I have to watch when you pull it off that you don't bump anything with it. Okay, so got this off. Alright, now let's flip it over on its back down. The next step is to pull this grill off. Okay, this is a bit tricky, this part. You need to carefully remove this bezel, and the only way I've found that you can do it is you have to carefully take a flat blade screwdriver and start. I like to start over on this edge of the monitor. This is the bottom. So this side, and if you just carefully lift up and sneak your screwdriver underneath here, and just start working your way around the edge, this bezel will pop off. So you just have to keep going around. You start at one side and just keep going around like so. Carefully pry. Don't make sure you don't pry on the glass. Stay on the metal edge that's underneath this bezel, and then sooner or later get all the way around to the outside edge. Just keep turning it. Start in the corner, and boom, there it is. All right, so we've got that on. Now, the next step is to actually get the screen out. Okay, so once you have the bezel off, what you need to do is this basically just laying inside of here. So take a box or something to give you a little bit of a spacer and flip this over. Make sure you hold on to the metal part. Hold on to the metal and then set the screen flat and then just lift the cover straight up. So then what we have now is we have 4 screws, one here, and 2 on the other end. We need to pull all 4 of those out and then lift this assembly up. Okay, so the easiest way to get these out is just to take a screwdriver and kind of pry it on this side, and there, it pops out eventually. It's just stubborn. These guys are really in there on this one. There, it's coming just really tight. I've seen one that tight. There, that one came out easier. Okay, so you got those 4 out. Now, there is a connector. You have to lift this up slightly, set it back, and you need to snap. Hopefully you can see that. Let me focus in here a little bit more. You need to snap the ends of this connector. Just push down gently and pull it back. I don't know if you could see that, but okay, so then once you have those connectors loose, then you can flip this over, and this is the main board, and this is the board that we're most interested in. Okay, we're going to take a slightly different approach. I checked all the components inside the power supply, and there are no issues with the capacitor. So I did a little more research, and this monitor is notorious for having a loose solder connection on the CCFL tube for the backlight. So what we're going to do now is we're going to disassemble the LCD panel partially to the point where we can get to the CCFL tube on the top and the bottom, and we're going to check the solder joints on that. That has actually been a root cause for this problem on several other monitors. So let's go ahead and take this apart. I'm going to speed this video up because this is going to take quite a bit of time, but I'll leave the camera run so you can see the details for getting this apart. A number of screws on the outside edge. I think we already have those off, so this should just actually unclip. So I'm going to take a small screwdriver and go around and unclip this cover. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in here. This particular end of the cable, I pulled both LCD connections out, and it turns out this wire is missing on this end. It actually came completely out of the connection, so this is our root problem right here. This wire came off the end of the CCFL tube, so I'm going to pull this tube out of here, clean some of the silicone insulation off the end of these dual tubes, and then put this back together and see if that fixes it. Okay, so I peeled back this connector here. These tubes are super fragile, so you gotta be really careful. Especially, you gotta be careful how you slide them out of the ridge. Extremely careful, because it will crack basically with hardly anything. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I've peeled this back with an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to strip this wire off of here and solder it back on the end of this tube, which is where it broke loose. And then we'll put it all back and see what happens. Okay, I have put the wire back on, and the dog's barking. So, shut up! So we need to very carefully place the tube back in the slot. And it's a little tricky because it's very easy to bust. It might be easier to slide it in from one end first, that side, and to very carefully push this end in. Because it won't take much to break. Okay, there. That one's in on that side, and that one is in on this side. Okay, so I think that part is back. Oh. Yeah, there it is. There you go. Nice. See how long it stays lit. There you go. Oh yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, it's still on. Hasn't shut off yet. Ta-da. Finished. Working. Ta-da. Put it all back together.